to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied with respect to this meeting of the mayor and council of the borough of Glen Ridge, which is being held via, no, it's not. Oh, we're not.
Oh, did I give you the wrong one?
Yes, you did.
And I labeled them wrong?
Yeah, I think you did. Well, the rest of it's right.
Yeah.
Specifically, the time, date, and public polling information were included in the meeting notice posted in the municipal building and sent to the official newspapers of the township, the Glen Ridge Paper, the Glen Ridge Voice, the Montclair Times, and the Star Ledger. Additionally, the agenda for this meeting has been posted on the official Glen Ridge Borough website. The agenda and public handouts for this meeting can be viewed online at www.glenridgenj.org. A public comment period will be held in the order as listed on the meeting agenda, and instructions on how to comment will be provided at the appropriate time. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow? Here. Hughes?
He's not here.
Mans? Absent. Councilor Lefkowitz?
Here.
Law?
Here.
Meyer? Here. Mayor Patrick is present. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of our last scheduled meeting on March 28th, 2022.
So moved. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
For a second.
I'll second.
Any comments? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Abstain.
Law?
Abstain.
Meyer?
Aye.
We do not have a carried motion.
No, we have a quorum present, so you only need, one person can vote.
Only one, okay.
Yeah, so you're good.
Gotcha. So 2 ayes, 2 abstentions. The motion carries.
Thank you. Are there any written communications?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one written communication this evening from a resident named Jim Lowe on Midland Avenue, and he is writing regarding the gas-powered lawn equipment, and he would like to see the council move forward with something regarding the decibels and the times regarding the landscapers doing using the gas-powered lawn equipment. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I have no comments this evening, so at this time we'll take comments of the public. Does anybody wish to be heard? None? All right.
All right. Mr. Mayor, Council? Tara,
Address your
Clark. I understand.
comments to me tonight, please.
22 Madison Street, Raymond Donnelly.
Thank you.
All right, let's start off. Hello, Mr. Mayor, everyone. You know me, Raymond Donnelly, 22 Madison Street. I just want to say, 2 weeks ago, we held the first ever three-point contest for the Glen Ridge Men's 30-plus Basketball League. It was a big hit. One of the members of the GRPD showed up for support. I'd just like to report that I took home the trophy. All right, thank you. 13 guys came out. I took the trophy, and it is proudly displayed in my mantle. I don't believe there's any ordinance for me to take it down, so it's staying there until my wife tells me to move it. But it's going to be held every year now. It's a big hit. There's like 90 guys on my email list in town for basketball, and we play.
Where did that
Tuesday
take
night at
place?
High school. What's that?
Where did it take place?
At the Glen Ridge High School.
At the high school.
Yes. So that's that. Next thing, I am very happy with the response today from the county as far as getting the unmarked crosswalks painted. There's a number of crosswalks on Ridgewood Avenue that are not painted. Why aren't they? I don't know. Let's get them painted. They will follow through. They told me they will paint them on Ridgewood Avenue. There's a couple locations. Windsor and Appleton come to mind. Thank you. I fully support gas-powered leaf blowers, weed whackers, snow blowers. I'm all for it. I've seen on the unofficial Glen Ridge social media pages in town calling for an end to gas-powered leaf blowers. Guess what? It's spring cleanup. That's why you're going to hear them. After that, you'll maybe hear them for maybe 10 minutes on your lawn. Relax, people. I have my own gas-powered leaf blower. I will use it whenever I want. I love it. Okay? Public safety, I already talked to the lieutenant offline. I asked him how many cars have been stolen in Glen Ridge in 2022 so far, because I follow you guys on social media. I saw the posts that you've been posting the past couple weeks, and I had to ask the question, because there's been like maybe 4 or 5 just within the past month. And Lieutenant, I believe you said it was 6. So 6 cars have been stolen so far in 2022. I will be putting down spikes in my driveway as a deterrent.
Mr. Donnelly, if I may.
Right, we can pause the clock? Go ahead.
If I may. I think the best deterrent is to lock the car and take the key. Because
That's your
all
best
of,
deterrence. Mine is I'm gonna put down a deterrent in the driveway.
well, whatever works for you, but all of those cars have been unlocked.
Or had the keys in.
All 6 of the
Lieutenant,
cars.
am I doing anything wrong with having spike strips in my driveway?
To my knowledge, no.
I would hate to dissuade you.
Thank you, sir.
Just adding
All
that
right, next.
fact.
That's my only couple comments. I have one more comment. How much time do I have left, Tara?
I asked you not to speak to her. Speak to me if you want.
Okay, how much time do I have, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a couple of the items I wanted to address. Also, as you know, I emailed you in the town after your Memorial Day speech that you wrote a couple years ago in 2018. I took it upon myself to do a little more research about the service members who have given their life in the name of freedom, in defense of freedom and democracy for America and for all the world, okay? And I looked up some of those names. I know you highlighted one individual. I was like, you know what, that was very nice that you did that. And I decided to go look into a little bit more and find out a little more about the individuals. So there's a website. If you look up some of the names, right? If they're buried overseas, we've had people that have fought and died for this country in the Battle of the Bulge, lost at sea, even before December 7th, 1941 happened. In the transport from Nova Scotia to England, they were torpedoed by U-boats, right? A lot of people don't know that. It's not just a name. Every single one of those names has a story. I took it upon myself to do a little research and say, you know what, where's their final resting place? And we have a number of Glen Ridge residents who are buried in the Netherlands, Italy, England, France, Belgium, and also on the wall of the missing in England, the Philippines, and in Normandy. And there's actually one member who was buried in North Africa when we had the campaign going on there. So I just wanted to show you some of these pictures. I will be presenting these to the Historical Society, and I really do hope that the council and the mayor move forward with the Memorial Day Parade, because this is something that, you know, it's more than just a name, and there's actual pictures of Walter Faulkner from New Jersey here in Glen Ridge, buried in Belgium. And every single one of these cemeteries I reached out to was on the phone with Skype, old school. I put like $15 on the account, called them, emailed them. They all wrote me back within 2 days. So we have Walter Faulkner, we have Thomas Hartman. Oh, so Thomas Hartman, his name is on the wall. However, his name on the memorial is spelled incorrectly. So I'm going to ask the mayor and the council to possibly correct the mistake that has been on that wall, on that memorial for who knows how long. But I just wanted to show you this one picture. He's buried in the Netherlands. And we have people who are buried, whose names are, they were sunk at sea. Torpedoes, who knows? South Pacific. that's all I have for this 5-minute period. I had one other comment about the lacrosse balls. If we're gonna put up a caution or a warning sign, warnings should be in red, cautions are in yellow. It's a park, people can get hurt. But I wanted to share this with you guys in preparation for Memorial Day Parade. And I got them all. I think it's a nice thing to do to honor them.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I got,
Right there, Joe, the picture.
right there.
Chair.
What was the time?
7:17.
I appreciate the leniency.
I think this will just about work for me. I can stand up taller.
What's your name?
My name is Eric Matisoff. I live at 386 Forest Avenue. If you don't mind, I just wanted to take some notes or read for some notes. So my name is Eric Matisoff. I'm relatively new in town. I moved in from the Upper West Side with my wife and now 2 and 4-year-olds in the summer of 2020 when everyone was so excited to get out of the city. So to be honest, we've absolutely fallen in love with the borough, the community. Even through the pandemic, we have made really great friends with neighbors and other parents. I've got competitors that I play with in a weekly pickup soccer league over at Brookdale Park. This is my first time joining a town council meeting, so thank you so much for having me. It's great to speak to you all. Welcome. You all as well. So I wanted to tell you a quick story about a few experiences that we've had since moving here. When we first moved in June of 2020, my daughter was 1. We're all really getting accustomed to life in the suburbs. I'd be working from home, my wife would be managing 2 crazy toddlers, and finally she would get a little bit of reprieve when our daughter would go down for a nap. But there was a problem. Almost every single day, throughout the whole spring, summer, and fall, she'd get woken up by deafening sounds coming from our new neighbors. It was the kind of volume you don't really expect to hear in the suburbs, especially after leaving the city. And I bet you can guess what it was. It was 4, 5, sometimes 6 gas-powered leaf blowers that would bring her to tears during a nap that was just simply cut too short. For those of you that are parents, you know the cry that I'm talking about. Did you know that gas-powered leaf blowers can cause up to 100 decibels of sound, which is as much as a plane taking off? What about when 4 or more of them are all being used at the same time? It can truly be deafening. Luckily, the landscapers, they wear noise-canceling earmuffs, and we were inside. So it was noisy, but only loud enough to wake up my daughter. But I would still have to close my windows, oftentimes apologizing for the Zoom calls I was on for work. And my wife and I honestly couldn't believe that life was actually quieter over in Manhattan. So fast forward a year, thankfully, or maybe not, my daughter had outgrown her naps. So when the leaf blowers came out to disturb the peace, often at 8 a.m. or even earlier, they weren't going to wake her up, so that was great. But on a sunny day, our family would still look forward to going outside and making the most of the outdoors. That's why we moved here in the first place, right? Kiddie pools in the backyard, throwing the ball in the front yard, learning to ride their bikes. But after a quiet winter had ended, the swarms of leaf blowers arrived yet again. This time, we were outside. And the only ones wearing those noise-canceling earmuffs, well, they were the landscapers. So after, giving the kids a snack and convincing them to go outside, putting on 2 pairs of sneakers, all that craziness, just to go out, have to run back inside because of noise, the volume of a Metallica concert, without all the fun of a Metallica concert. So I decided to do some research. I wondered if, maybe I was the crazy one, thinking that, having to deal with this noise nuisance. But apparently it's not just a noise nuisance. It's a pretty massive environmental problem as well. According to a recent study, the hydrocarbon emissions from just one leaf blower doing 30 minutes of yard work is about the same as a supercharged Ford Raptor driving 3,900 miles. I'm pretty terrible at geography. Apparently that's from Texas to Alaska, 3,900 miles in a pickup. Imagine all of those drives that could be done when 5 leaf blowers are going at the same time from house to house to house to house. So I asked my friends in Montclair, in Maplewood, down in Princeton, all of those towns have pretty simple legislation to limit the use of gas-powered leaf blowers. In Montclair, they're only permitted during certain days, certain times, and certain months. Really, for spring cleanup and for fall cleanup. In Maplewood, a similar law was passed in 2017 with an expectation of actually a complete ban next year.
Could you wrap it up, please?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been inspired to come and talk to you all today. So I'd like to make a recommendation for a similar legislation in Glen Ridge as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please come up.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Eric Goldman. I live at 25 Lorraine Street, and I don't know if it was a mistake, but I think I'm the one that started the Facebook conversation about gas-powered leaf blowers. I was very frustrated Monday morning, one day last week, because for 4 hours straight, as I was trying to work, the leaf blowers were working, and sometimes they would get closer to the house, and sometimes they would move away. Full confession, I hire someone to take care of my lawn, and he uses a leaf blower. So it's not like I'm completely opposed to them. I understand that they can be very useful. But I do think with more of us working from home, more of us spending time here, noise is becoming much more of a quality of life issue. Now I have the great fortune of having some neighbors in the back of my house who have fondness for power tools. And it's kind of family fun time to build things with power tools, 3 feet from the property line. So I've been dealing with noise for a long time, and I've had, I went through the noise ordinances that we have. And we do have some noise ordinances, and they set out times when you can use power tools and when you can't, and there's limited times on weekends. There are 2 real deficiencies in our existing noise ordinances. One is there's this language in the noise ordinance that says if you're going to use a power tool, you have to use some type of sound muffling device. However, when I spoke with the police department, they said, well, the sound muffling devices don't really exist. So we've got something in our noise ordinances that it's not enforceable. The other thing is that if you want to make a noise complaint, you have to go through the police department, which means you have to call the police on your neighbors. I am extremely uncomfortable about calling the police on my neighbors, even though they drive me batty with the noise. So on the leaf blowers, it is documented that there are towns, our neighboring municipalities, that have put in place some reasonable restrictions on when you can use gas-powered leaf blowers. So it's not like we're looking at reinventing the wheel. And it's not like at least I'm not advocating complete eradication. I'm just looking for a little sensibility. I don't think that a landscaping company needs to send out 4 people with leaf blowers at a time. I don't think that it needs to be leaf blower season 6 months out of the year. I do think that battery-powered leaf blowers are better for the environment, more quiet, and better for the workers. I feel horrible for the workers. Yes, they wear the headphones, but they're still getting the fumes, and the fumes are very bad. So because I backed into it on Facebook, I kind of felt obligated to show up tonight and just ask for a reasonable, neighborly conversation about how annoying the leaf blowers are, and maybe we can do something like our neighboring towns have to strike a balance. I think that we can do that. And again, I do want to reiterate, I think that a lot more people are going to be working from home. I think that a lot of us are Zoom meetings are not going away, right? And as somebody who's had to sign off of Zoom meetings because of noise from neighbors and noise from leaf blowers, I'd like to see us just be a little more conscious about our noise ordinances. Please don't run them through the police. That's just too confrontational. There should be something else that we can do. and just try and keep it down. And I'm asking the council and the mayor to maybe start that dialogue as friends, as neighbors, to kind of keep the peace. And I would like to congratulate my friend here on his trophy. That's very impressive. No, really, I'm not kidding. That's impressive. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Moore.
Thanks, Mayor. I have a number of items tonight for finance and administration. The first is our standard resolution for the payment of bills, and that is, I believe it's 6622, dated April 11. Be it resolved, the following claims be approved and warrants be drawn for the same. And be it resolved that the chief financial officer and treasurer of the borough is hereby authorized to issue the payroll for employees of the borough for the pay date April 1, 2022. Mayor, I move resolution 66-22.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second?
Mr. Mayor, the resolution says 64-22, is it,
Yeah, but it should,
should it be 66 on the
Yes.
resolution itself?
and it's
Just-
dated, yeah, it's 66-22, and it should be dated April 11, 2022.
Gotcha. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
The next three all relate to our upcoming budget, which we, as a council, received a presentation this evening and workshop from our CFO, Matt Laracy. The formal presentation and public presentation to the town will be at our May meeting. So I'll just run through these resolutions, and then just start with the first, which is 67-22. It's our budget certificate of compliance. Basically, this resolution just certifies that the borough is in compliance with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance, the consideration of arrest and conviction records and employment decisions under Title VII. This is an affidavit that we are required as a council to sign, and we'll be doing so this evening. Mayor, I move resolution number 67-22, the governing body certification pursuant to Public Law 2017 of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance. Mayor, I move the resolution.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second, please?
I second.
Thank you, Richard. Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Next, I have resolution number 68-22. This resolution will authorize adoption of the budget by title only. So I will, and the budget will be posted to our borough website following the meeting. And again, it will be presented formally with a PowerPoint presentation at the May meeting. So I move resolution 68-22, whereas New Jersey statutes provide that the budget as advertised shall be read in full at the public hearing, or that it may be read by its title only. If at least 1 week prior to the date of the hearing, a complete copy of the approved budget as advertised shall be posted in a public place where public notices are customarily posted in the principal public building, and copies are made available to each person requesting same during said week and during the public hearing. Mayor, I move resolution number 68-22.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thanks. Next, I have resolution number 69-22, and this is the introduction of our municipal budget. This resolution will formally introduce the proposed budget. The proposal anticipates a 1.6% increase in the municipal budget. The good news is this is a lower increase than the 2.5% from the 2020 to 2021 budget. Taxpayers would realize an average increase of $97 on the municipal portion of their tax bill. Again, a public presentation will be made at the May 9th, 2022 meeting. Introduction of the municipal budget. Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Glen Ridge that the following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget of the Borough of Glen Ridge. Listed are the appropriations. Should I go through? No, I don't have to go through this. Be it further resolved that the budget will be published in the, this says May 21st, but it should be April. Okay. 21st edition of the Glen Ridge paper. Be it further resolved by the mayor and borough council that we hereby approve the preceding as the budget for the 2022 year. A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held on the May 9th, 2022 meeting at 7:30 p.m., at which time and place discussions to said budget may be presented by taxpayers or other interested persons. Be it further resolved that the budget is available on the borough's website. We were told by Matt Barrissey, our CFO, that this is the user-friendly state budget, so it is pretty detailed. Our presentation via PowerPoint at May will be a simpler, more direct presentation. But as I said, the good news is our revenues are in good shape for this year. Some of the additional revenues that will be coming in are due to the Claris project. In addition, we have some American Rescue Plan monies that will be allocated to capital projects, and we are in a solid financial state. So, Mayor, I move resolution number 69-22, which is the formal introduction of our budget.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Next, I have resolution 70-22. This resolution authorizes the refund of tax payments due in part to an increase in activity in the real estate market. There are certain tax adjustments that are made because of banks, because of overpayments and the like. So this resolution will authorize that warrants be drawn to the below listed homeowners representing in their designated amount of tax reimbursement resulting from tax appeals. So there are the 3 listed properties and the amounts that represent tax overpayments. And refunded tax payment. Mayor, I move the resolution.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second, please?
I second.
Thanks, Rich. Any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thank you.
And that's it for finance.
Can you take
Yes.
public
I
safety,
think
please?
Peters.
Will you do the public
Yeah.
safety?
So Councilor Hughes is not here tonight, so I will take his resolution, which is number 71-22. This has to do with the raffle license for the Glen Ridge Home and School Association. I offer resolution number 71-22. Be it resolved that in accordance with New Jersey statutes, the mayor and borough approve the raffle license application for an on-premise 50/50 raffle submitted by the Glen Ridge High School Home and School Association to be held on April 27th, 2022. Mayor, I move the resolution.
You've heard the resolution. May I hear a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilors Morrow,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays, the motion carries.
Thank you. Councilor Lefkowitz.
Mr. Mayor, I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Councilor Ball.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to briefly mention that I met with our field consultant yesterday and visited all our main fields. I think we're reasonably pleased with the progress that we made in the condition of the fields. Condition of fields has been hampered by the poor weather that we've been having, and looking forward to getting some more cooperative weather going forward. And overall, I'd say it's a significant improvement over this time last year. We're not where we want to be, but I think we're moving in the right direction, and optimistic about the condition of our fields this year. So that's all I have to report.
That's good news. Councilor Mayor.
Nothing to report this evening, thank you. We
you
do have an
anything, Mike?
Mr. Mayor,
Do you want to take Debbie's?
Debbie had emailed us an update on Public Works, if you'd like us
You
to
got
read
it.
it. We do, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, on behalf of Councilor Mans, I'll read a brief update. A road project has resumed, ADA curb ramps being completed on Lincoln Street and Woodland Avenue, moving to Clinton, Benson, Wildwood, and Baldwin area next. Marked out cobblestone gutters for restoration, removed invasive species plants from Clayfield Garden, ordered supplies and additional garden beds for community garden. So that was the update from the Public Works Committee. Thank you.
Michael, have you got anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. Just to review the budget. So today we introduced the budget. We'll be posting, and I use the term user-friendly. That's the state term, not ours. When you see it, it doesn't really appear user-friendly. But when you look at the 96-page document or the 85-page document, compare it down to the state's user-friendly budget. So that'll be posted online. So when you see it, don't say, Mike said this is user-friendly. That's just the definition used by the state. So what will happen is our budget as introduced tonight will then go down to the state for review. The state will then pass it back to us, and then we can proceed forward with the showing that to the public and giving them the final numbers that the state's certified that our accounting procedures and policies are correct, and they concur with how we're tracking our funds in and out. So
The May 9th date, hopefully will come.
Hopefully we'll.
Assuming the state approves what we're submitting.
Yes, the state kind of put themselves in a bind. You're usually statutorily required to be reviewed every 3 years. However, if we extended different payments because of participating in the COVID relief program, everybody's required to be reviewed. That did that. Everybody in the state pretty much did that. So the state is geared up to review 565 budgets in 1 month's time, but we'll see. So that's just for the public how the budget process works. And second, and probably more important to most people, Household Hazardous Waste Disposal Day is May 7th. The county puts this program on sometimes once or twice a year. This is where you can get rid of your oil-based paint, old gasoline, fertilizer you've never used that's hardened and you want to get rid of and you cannot get disposed of through our typical disposal programs. This is Household Hazardous Waste Day is May 7th. It's 8:30 to 4:30 at 90 West Bradford Avenue in Cedar Grove. It's easy. You just pull up in your car, show your license that you're an Essex County resident. They take your material and you drive away. It's a great program, and especially when you're in your basement and you're wondering how do you get rid of half of these things, this is the time and place to go. So we just try to get the word out as much as possible regarding that program. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
John?
Mayor, I have no report.
John?
Mayor, thank you. Just as a reminder, we've been aggressive on Facebook to push out the word to lock your car doors and remove key fobs to help prevent theft throughout the state of motor vehicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any new and unfinished business?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, then we'll hear comments from the public. I'd like you to keep your comments to what happened since the first meeting. If you have any comments about the resolutions, the ordinances, or things we talked about, this is the time for that. The time for general comments is first session. So if anybody wants to be heard, please come forward.
What if you didn't get appointed? Mike, I know I got your email, Raymond Donnelly, 22 Madison Street. I know you got your email last night. It wasn't really clear, your response, as far as the crosswalks are concerned. That is why I reached out to the county, and they said they're gonna come and they're gonna put the white stripes in. So, by all means, I went to the first level, I didn't get the right answer, and that's when I went up to the next level, and they were clear about what their intentions were.
Okay, but I think.
Because if you're in the
crosswalks you've identified though are not ones that we would actually want people crossing for.
Understand, but there's actually, if I was driving my vehicle,
Yes,
and there was a person in that crosswalk, and Lieutenant Ferranda stopped me because I didn't stop and yield, stop for the pedestrian in the crosswalk, he can give me a ticket.
okay.
And why not make it visible for the drivers to know that that's a crosswalk? I think it's fair. Also, ordinances, if the house is under contract, are you allowed to take are you still allowed to have your for sale sign on the lawn?
Yes.
You just can't post under contract. The sign can stay, but I don't recall off the top.
If the sign says under contract, if
I don't
there's a
think you
sign
can-
that says under contract, can you still keep it on? I
I'll have to
believe
look
that
it
you
up. I don't know off the top of my head.
might. Okay,
I think they can, but yeah, we can double check.
I would double check it.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that, a house that's under contract is not a house that has closed title yet. And a lot of times, depending on the contract, some sellers insist on being able to continue to show the house
I would check the email that Mike sent me.
until they know that all of the contingencies on the buy side of the sale have been met. So, I think that it just gets complicated, that until the house actually closes title, the house might still be on the market.
I'd reference the email that Mike sent me. Also, the cleanup at the Tony's Brook in town, Councilor Meyer was there as well. I believe there was probably almost 400 bottles of garbage, 400 bottles of plastic bottles and debris. I pulled out a couple angle irons. Pulled out a bench. So we did a great job. The community came out and really cleaned up the brook. Also, back to the topic about leaf blowers. If we're so concerned about that, why not turf the fields? That's less noise pollution at Carteret Park. All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.